many refugees has Poland taken?
0.
And you're proud of that?
If you are asking me about Muslims' illegal immigration, none, not even one, will come to Poland. Not even one if it's illegal. We took over 2 million Ukrainians who are working, who are peaceful in Poland. We will not receive even one Muslim because this is what we promised.
But I asked not about illegal immigrants, I asked about refugees. And Jean-Claude Juncker, the Commission President, says that you're racist. You sound proud of the fact that you haven't taken any refugees.
Of course, because this is what our people are expecting from our government. That's number one. This is why our government was elected. But this is why Poland is so safe. This is the reason why we had not even one terrorist attack. Look at the streets in Poland, and we can be called populists, nationalists, racists. I don't care. I care about my family and about my country.
Different countries have had different policies.
Yeah.
And we've seen some very different results.
It's weird.
You were touching on Poland, so I wanted to show you something that I doubt you have seen, as it's only been aired in like Somalia and just some of these places.
Okay.
You're not in those places.
No.
هغه خلک څوک چې تاسو ته یورپ کې شنه باغونه ښیي هغوی تاسو له دوکه درکوي په پوله باړ لګولی شوی جدید او برقي آلات نصب کړی شوي او په زرګونو فوجان تعینات دي پولینډ کې د پناه قانون اوس نور هم سخت کړی شوی دی پولینډ او بیلاروس ترمنځ پوله د یورپ دروازه نه ده موږ د هغه ملزمانو خلاف جنګ کوو څوک چې انساني سمګلینګ کوي څوک چې هم په غیر قانوني توګه په پولې د اوړېدو هڅه کوي هغه به نیولی کېږي هغه کسان چې تاسو سره یورپ کې د ښه ژوند تېرولو لوظونه کوي هغوی ستاسو د خوشحالۍ هیڅ پروا نه لري بلکې ستاسو پیسو تغلي وي
They don't care about you. They only care about your money. You're not welcome here. Do not pass go.
Yeah, they were pretty to the point on that one there, huh?
Yeah, and I bring that up because you had said, you had referenced a clip from years
it's
past.
10 years old.
Yeah.
It just popped up again because I guess it's a hot topic again. But yeah, I don't remember if it was on. It was on one of the big alphabet news stations, and it had a British or English broadcaster lady, and she was trying to grill the Prime Minister of Poland, and he's like, let me preface that. She asked him some very leading questions, we'll say. Just, you know, don't you think it's racist that Poland isn't bringing any of these poor refugees, and, you know, you have like a zero tolerance policy for this? You just don't think? He just stone-faced. He's like, no, I don't give a crap about any of that. The people of Poland...
That's not what we want.
Everybody here voted to not do that. So I don't want to get tarred and feathered and pulled out of my position. So I'm going to do what the people told me to do. And if you look at the map, all these terrorist attacks that have been happening in the last 5, 10, 15 years, you see that clean slate up in the middle? That's Poland, because that doesn't happen here. You know, he just grills her right back and is basically like, suck my nuts, lady. It's not happening here.
Yeah.
So...
I'm very familiar with it.
Yeah. So, and I remember seeing that when it was live, and I was like, man, okay, I see you, Poland.
So, right now, what they actually have is they have basically volunteer militias, groups of primarily men that are just waiting at the border where Germany is dumping these migrants off. So there'll be like buses that have 50 to 100, and then there'll be like 100 just yoked Polish bros, shirtless, standing in the road, right? Like, I mean, there's...
Dare ya.
Yeah. And sometimes they just let them out, and sometimes they turn around and drive off. And the same thing's happening on their border walls and all. I mean, they're serious about border security, and so, I mean, hats off to them for that. And I will say the only other country that I've seen in Europe do the same thing is Italy. Their prime minister, first of all, I'm a fan of her. I think she's hilarious because she is very to the point. There's not really a filter at all, but it's not like the Donald Trump. There's not a filter. Hers, like, as a matter of fact, when the last time they were over here and they had the dinner and Donald Trump's talking or whatever, she is talking while he's talking, and she was like, he just loves it. Where I'm from, I hate talking to the media, and he's here just talking and talking away and talking about nothing. And she's just saying this while he's in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so But same basic thing. They were talking to her, and she's like, "No, we don't want them here. They are not allowed here." They just justifying it. She's like, "There's a reason that our streets are safer than we don't want to look." She's like, "We don't want to look. We don't want to end up like France. We don't want to end up like Britain."
Yeah. How's France and Britain doing right now?
This is just at the border, them not letting them come in, and it's hundreds and hundreds of them. And this clip right here says not one woman or child, and if you look through it, there's not one woman or child. Quite literally, there is not one woman or child. I saw a funny video in Italy because they're trying to have some like anti-burqa laws for one, and people are saying that's racist, and because of that, now there's been some videos where you'll see police officers walking and kind of like, see them sussing, and then they just grab and yank it open, and it's, a 30-year-old man under the burqa there, and it's, all right, cuffs.
Yeah, you're in the car.
That's just racist, so.
Well, no, it's more like using logic and reason in your brain and not what your lookity box is telling you to be upset or racist for.
Il responsabile Emmanuel Macron sono quelli che hanno bombardato la Libia perché gli dava fastidio che l'Italia avesse un rapporto privilegiato in campo energetico con Gheddafi, esponendoci al caos migrazione nel quale ci troviamo. Cinici Emmanuel Macron sono i francesi che mandano la gendarmerie a rispedire indietro qualunque immigrato tenti di passare il confine a Ventimiglia. Ma soprattutto perché le cose vanno raccontate come si deve, vomitevole è chi, come la Francia, continua a sfruttare l'Africa stampando moneta per 14 nazioni africane sulle quali applica il signoraggio, facendo lavorare bambini nelle miniere, estraendo materie prime come accade in Niger, dove la Francia estrae il 30% dell'uranio che gli serve a far camminare le centrali nucleari e il 90% dei nigerini vive senza elettricità. Non ci venire a fare lezioni, Macron, perché l'Africa scappa da voi e la soluzione non è spostare gli africani in Europa, è liberare l'Africa da certi europei.
She's roasting, son.
Well, he had said that it was her duty to allow these immigrants to cross their border because, like I said, Italy and Poland are the two ones keeping them out, and she.
Nope.
I don't disagree with.
She said nope.
I don't disagree with a lot of the things she said. I mean, yeah, your country specifically is stealing on paper 90% of. I mean,
just absolutely.
Yeah, you hate it.
Well, it seems they're getting their comeuppance. Well, I feel sorry for the people, the people that were there and they're watching their home just erode beneath them.
Yeah, I mean, more. The United Kingdom went from being 98% of this one particular ethnic group that'd been there for a very long time to now less than 30% of the UK is even the broad classification of white, and that's in one generation. That is, like you said, the older folks there. I mean, if you're a 70-year-old man, 80-year-old man right now, the majority of your life, your country was this place, and then now as you're kind of in your autumn years and going out,
right,
you see everything, and I mean, imagine the anxiety and everything you're feeling for your children, grandchildren. Like, this is not. I hate it. Very
what
sad.
can you do though? I mean, it's just.
Well,
those people in that age demographic, they're not beating the streets anymore. They're kind of along for the ride at this point,
Yeah, and unfortunately, you do see them be more and more victims.
Passive, yeah.
When we see that in the United States, even, and this isn't so aggressive, but he's putting his shoe up on her wheelchair while they're riding the bus, and he's resting his shoe up there, and, you know, she's obviously very uncomfortable, and the one white dude's like, hey, man, you know, take your shoe off of there, and he's like, you know, you or whatever, and he's like, no, dude, take it off, and he slaps the shoe off, and the dude comes up, like, to fight over it, and then the entire bus gets up. But you don't see that happen much. So that's how blatantly wrong that was, that bystanders.
Well, at least there's still a little window.
Saying, we saw the blonde girl get stabbed repeatedly, and bystanders didn't get up. So that's showing you how egregious this was. On the subject of the food, or on the subject of the migrants in the Netherlands, I've seen a lot of videos where there'll be Muslim immigrants, refugees, whatever you want to say, that will literally be whipping it out and pissing in supermarkets all over the pork products and stuff, because this is
haram, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's... Can you imagine what would happen if you went to...
I'd slap the shit out of that person. I would slap just slap the crap out of that person. Like, I wouldn't even be a thought.
It's, I mean,
not only are you being disrespectful to the owner of the establishment, you know, whether it's a big chain or whatever, but there's kids here, we're shopping, and you have your, you know, that ain't gonna fly with me. I would tackle that person and then hold them there until security got there, so I could press charges for indecent exposure to my daughter and son or whatever.
I'd go further than that. I'd say that's basically bioterrorism. I mean, you're ruining the food. You could have some disease or something that you're spreading out there. They absolutely, all that has to be removed. Everything has to be sanitized. Right. I mean, because you. But the food itself is. I mean, it's integrity is one thing.
Local source from animals you met once. Yeah.
You want to, as much as you can, get your local organic food. People you know what's going on with it.
Know what they're being fed.
Yeah.
What they're being stuck
people that
with.
aren't injecting them with all that stuff. You saw. They passed some of these laws across the pond where you got to give this drug called Bolivar.
What? And it's killing all those poor cows?
Yeah, but it keeps them from farting so much. And that's what's destroying everything. Even though now, didn't Bill Gates, now his whole thing, since he sold all of his stock in all of the vaccines, he said they didn't actually work. And since he got rid of a bunch of other assets, he's also now saying, oh yeah, there's no man-induced climate change with carbon. That has nothing to do with any of that stuff.
The new thing. He's off the COVID vaccine. He already cashed in his stock for the COVID vaccine. He made $500 million off his COVID stock for the vaccine. While you got locked down and weren't allowed to go to work and make money, he bought $55 million worth of stock that went 10 times in value. And now watch the next thing he says, because he just cashed in that stock. So the new thing is nasal COVID thing because it blocks the infection. But watch this.
We also need to fix the three problems with vaccines. The current vaccines are not infection blocking. They're not broad, so when new variants come up, you lose protection. And they have very short duration.
So now he's shitting on the vaccine, and now he's pushing this new thing. Because I was like, well, he cashed out his stock on the vaccine, and now he's invested in this new thing. Is he invested in this new thing? I don't know. Let's look. This is the Economic Times Industry. Gates Foundation to fund 2 COS for vaccine research. 2 companies, is that what that is? For vaccine research. New Delhi, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will fund 2 Indian firms, Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech. Wait a minute. That's the people doing this.
So we'll be walking all that back soon. But in the meantime, like you said, you've got cows that aren't producing milk anymore, or you've got cows that are just dying.
Yeah.
Not to mention, do you want to put that meat into your own body?
No, I don't think so. I met the cows that I eat, you know. I know the farmer that raised and slaughtered that cow. I know the things that they ate because he showed me. And
I mean, that's going on in Europe, which generally does have higher standards than the United States. I mean,
scary.
Like, for instance, the ground beef that you get here does not fly. They don't want you to have plastic wrapped ground beef that is then injected with gas so that it turns the color that looks more appealing to you and lasts longer. Has the ammonia in there is what the or U.S. pork isn't allowed anywhere else for what we put into our pigs. Even China will not accept U.S. pork. Even China will not accept U.S. pork.
They eat a lot of pigs over there.
Have you seen that huge facility they have? The largest pork processing thing in the world now?
The like rotisserie thing all the way down?
It looks just like a giant box. It is just this huge cube where their entire lives are spent in the cube and they are processed in the cube.
No kidding. That seems efficient.
It really is, but it's also kind of
terrible.
Yeah, I mean for the animals for one, that's
no.
But I mean they'll probably all have their VR goggles on soon enough. They're doing that to cows already so that they feel happy and they act like they're outside eating grass and sunshine even though they're in a dark basement standing in shit.
They're doing that with the people too though, right?
Yeah. Let's stay on the American food. Our milk not good anywhere else from all of the hormones that are injected into the cattle as well.
There's a couple dairy, I won't say major brands, but there's a couple dairy brands that have still fought the good fight that we can get here.
Yeah, but they've got the RBST or RBGT or BGH. It's hormone treated cows. But the milk, I think more countries are accepting of that. I know it's not allowed in Europe. Japan obviously keeps that out too, but I think China will take the milk. Another thing with Europe and Japan, Mountain Dew. You will never see that anywhere there because of the brominated vegetable oil that's in there and the fact that the liquid inside of it is also plastic as well. It's the same chemical used in like flame retardant.
That's like the you've seen the movie Teflon, right?
Yeah.
About the tanks and all that. Yeah. Same kind of concept.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like we were trying to make
U.S. corn's not taken anywhere because of the atrazine.
Yeah.
Most municipal water supplies have atrazine in it.
Isn't that the thing that made the frogs gay?
Yeah. That's the thing.
I think RFK has a clip talking about that.
There's a epidemic right now. More and more young women are starting to get mustaches.
It's weird.
Just all the 44 countries specifically ban atrazine altogether. You're not allowed to use it anywhere because it's so bad and messes everything up. It's such a terrible endocrine disruptor for everything.
Right.
Skittles.
Yeah, Skittles bad.
Yeah, artificial dyes, titanium dioxide.
All of the things. Hey, but there's some sugar in the middle.
That's the good part. The good.
We're going to wrap this sugar in 6 different layers of poison and some heavy metals. Enjoy.
Gatorade for all the artificial dyes not allowed in most places. Norway and Austria don't think allow any Gatorade, even the ones that don't have artificial dyes, just from the. I don't know if they're saying they don't believe it or if it's just a easy to broad spectrum ban it or what.
I ran it on the difference between American and European food. I think one of our early episodes a long time ago, and that was one of RFK's selling points when he was actually running for president. He was like, "We have 10,000 different ingredients in our food. The Europeans have like 123 total, and all the ones that we have in that list, they're all banned everywhere. It's just." He would keep ranting about it in his poor little crackly voice, but he was very passionate about the thing he was saying because it was freaking true. They banned poisoning their people. They said that's not good,
Yeah.
We still do it here.
Yeah, I mean, across the board.
Yeah.
Coffee mate creamer that's banned everywhere. Twinkies. Yellow food dye.
Yeah. That was a sad day when I had to give up Twinkies. I had
Ritz crackers. That's one that,
Mm.
you know, which that's Switzerland, Hungary, Denmark, Austria. It's not all the EU. Ritz, there's different things. Those are, some countries are more strict on all these like extremely artificial fats, oils, whatever you want to call them. The hydrogenated cottonseed oil, you know, like when you're starting adding words and making new words and stuff, that's when there's we're
good.
This is Rice Krispies. That's one that a lot of people don't realize. That's European Union, Japan, all that stuff. That's embalming fluid.
Ah.
Yeah.
Huh. Multi-use that.
And that same thing is also in all of your instant potatoes, like any of those box potatoes and stuff that you buy.
No. Idaho Farms would not do that to me.
Yeah, oh, you know.
Maybe Hungry Jack, okay?
Hungry Jack.
But not the other guys.
You know old Jack. Gee, that's linked to a lot of different stuff, a couple different cancers, and keeps you from your blood clotting properly and all of that type stuff. And then Pop-Tarts.
I was sad when I had to give up my brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts. That just made me so sad. I used to eat those things raw with country crock nut butter. That was like back in back in college when I was smoking and shit. Yeah, dude, that was like my stoned out snack. I'd have like 3 or 4 packs of brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts and just a tub of butter, and I just and just realizing I've done that 500 nights, you know.
Dude,
it's in here.
So you're familiar with the TV show Roots, I'm sure. You've at least heard of it. So I saw in the first any interaction I'd ever had with it, up on TV, looking at it, don't have any frame of reference, and I see this lady take her hand and scoop it in the Crisco and then eat the Crisco out of her hand, and I didn't watch Roots because of that, because of being my exposure to it. But that's what I thought of right there when you're like dipping it in the country.
Not like big globs, we just like scrape the top, you know, just enough to melt on the butter instead of actually having to melt it in your toaster. It all tasted the same in here, okay?
Yeah. Ugh. Sorry.
Yeah,
the
it's
Root
weird
stuff, the Crisco, yeah.
It's a weird thing about the crap I used to eat without even thinking twice about it, man. And just now I won't put something in my face if I haven't read the package on the back where I made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but I'd rather have to read a package than shove poison in my face and then wonder why I don't feel good or I'm sick.
They really make the snacks you eat every day? Once you learn about this process, you might never buy them again. First, illegal factories secretly collect expired products from supermarkets that should have been trashed. Then they open packages, dump expired snacks into huge grinders, and pulverize even rotten, moldy items. Next, they add flavors, preservatives, and dyes to mask the foul smell and look of spoiled food. Using molds, they shape the mixture to look like new snacks. They print fake production dates on packages and seal them to appear fresh. These snacks then end up in markets and stores. Customers, seeing low prices and bright colors, buy them unaware they're eating garbage.
Ugh. But not my fortune cookies, right? Not the,
Oh no, those only
those?
come fresh. Those are fresh
Right.
out of the oven each
Right.
time. Isn't that some disgusting footage?
It's just sad, man. And people don't think twice.
Yeah, it's sad from all angles. One, I wish the average consumer was more informed, or at this point, everyone has been at least informed on some level and exposed to it. It's willful blissful ignorance that people are choosing to partake in for a good portion of this. But if you're looking at it also from the corporate mindset, I mean, I just hate to, I couldn't be that evil where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take all of this rotten stuff, grind it up, and then feed it back to them. But that's the same with all these other companies too. Like, they have these products that they know are bad, and they don't let their children have. I mean, Bill Gates will not let his children have any kind of cell phones, anything at all like that. Most of the quote-unquote elites don't. Your pick a billionaire, they don't let their children have smartphones. They don't do a lot of the things that you think are, which you have to have because that's just the standard. Also, the I'll just bleep it out, the community, they also don't do that. You'll notice if you look at any video where you have, you know, all the kids spitting on the Christian woman as she's walking by and whatnot, they only have the flip phones. Because the reasons, you know.
Yeah, but to your point, it's willful ignorance at this point. Like, you could literally Google. I can't remember. I think I had the conversation with my wife about an experience I had. I asked somebody about religion. I had just not a poking question anyway, one or another of the other, but I was like, "What are your thoughts on religion?" And that was the basis of it. And the person immediately said, you know, sat back, thought about it a second. He was like, "Well, Christianity is the oldest religion," and I was like,
"What?
No, that's actually one of the newer ones." And he just kind of looked at me for a second. And then he flipped around and didn't talk to me again for like 15 minutes. And we never went back to the thing. And I just, like, I was ready to have a conversation about, you know, what do you think about religion? What do you think about there being so many religions? You know, which religions do you know? I was ready to talk about stuff. And it was, I couldn't even get past that Christianity wasn't the oldest religion. You know what I'm saying? So it was...
When people have something that refutes what they is sometimes very central to their whole belief system, they just stop.
Yeah.
And they don't take in the new information either. They just are like, no.
But it was just a immediate, like, nope. Nope. What was I doing? Yeah, I have work things. You know, I just... So, to your point, I don't... People don't want to get out of that safe, comfortable box they live in because that's scary, and, you know, I might actually have to change a couple little aspects of my life so that I can, you know, better my family or put them in a better position later down the road. You know, they're just, you know, pick a thread, whether it's food or vaccines or how you raise your public schooling or, you know, whatever.
Social media,
Disney, just all.
I'm sorry, Disney adults are disgusting at this point to me, because it's a dangerous cult, you know? Like, it's... I think that's who we need to be labeling as the terrorist organizations. That's who you need to be keeping an eye out for. They need a registry of anybody who self-identifies as a Disney adult. If you have gone to Disney World without children, you need to be on a list. So I can edit that out, but you get what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason. There's no reason. I'm sorry, and I will fight you on this. We can do whatever.
Imagine me going to Disney, big bearded me, with my "Come Take It" shirt, and just kind of sitting on the edge, smoking a cigarette, just looking around at all the kids. You know, yeah, I love Disney. This is great. You know. Take that guy to jail, like right now, and don't let him in the girl bathroom. I don't care what they said they identify as. You know what I'm saying? Just hook him and book him. There's no conversation to be had. So it's weird what people are just okay with, or being programmed to be okay with if you just don't. Because it doesn't take but a little nudge to get you off of that magnet track. You know what I'm saying? And once you get far enough away from that magnet track, you don't want to go back. Your magnet actually flips to get away from the track. So, but to get people off of that just locked in linear path of what they believe in and what they're going to do and what they're going to believe in, even if it's literally right here, like indisputably, here's where it started, here's the guy that signed the contract, this is where the money went, you know, just... like a police report that a judge wouldn't even have to think about, like, guilty.
But you got to think, there is really a whole spectrum of awareness to anything, because you can always go deeper, you can always learn more, and I mean, for most people there is a certain point where they just have to stop because they can't. They can't take anything.
I've experienced that in my life. I mean, I really did. Religion was really hard for me, and I believe in God. I'll say that. I believe in God.
Careful, that might be illegal soon.
Well, them. I'm sorry, I don't F them.
Here, quick tangent. You notice on the customize your own Coke can and stuff. You can't write Jesus. You can't write Jesus loves you. You can write Satan. You can write Allah. You can write Buddha. You can do
not
Moloch,
Jesus though.
Whatever. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a sacred text that says Jesus is a sorcerer and a bad, evil man, and not to be trusted. And have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read on that. I thought that was weird. But anyway,
well, there's all kinds. If you're going to that, all kinds of demiurge, whatnot, people that one way or another on. Yeah, we won't go down that thread.
Be careful. Be careful. We just got off the flags. But yeah, dealing just looking into religion in general and figuring out that Christianity's been around for this long, but there were religions long before that, and a lot of these pagan things and cult beliefs and whatever you want to call them were Christianized, and now those are things that practicing modern Christians,
whether it be a date moving from here to here,
like Jesus was born somewhere midsummer, and they changed it to be we're going to celebrate his birthday on December. But he was born very near the summer solstice. It says that a couple times in different places.
Do you know why April Fool's Day is called April Fool's Day realistically?
Please, inform me.
Well, it's actually a joke if it comes out there, because that is the first day of the year if you're going prior to the last time we reset everything and changed our calendars. Mm-hmm. Because wouldn't that make sense that a year starts, when spring starts? A year doesn't start, in the middle of the dead, cold winter and all that. Just fun fact. Hey. Or maybe just a completely nonsensical tinfoil hat thing that you can look up and verify.
Today I learned a thing.
But yeah.
So it's just, when you start looking into that stuff, I think that people that are having troubles with their paradigms, that is kind of a place would be a good place to start, because a lot of the things that people are ingrained in are the things they've been taught their whole life, researched into, books they read, and there's other books out there, and there's more knowledge out there, and I'm not discrediting any of the books that you've read and things that you believe in, but there's more to the story than just this one book. Mm-hmm. And this book is the third or fourth or fifth version of this book that you got, and the first version of this book that we can see is somewhere else, and it's a lot older than this book, and it's actually got a lot more books in the book about other stuff. And then you read those books that for some reason were taken out or burned by a certain king and then rewritten again, and the same king that wrote a book on demonology and all that stuff. So when you start looking into those things, it gets to be easier to look at other stuff that maybe you were taught your whole life that was absolute garbage, or just not the truth, or a retelling of a story, whatever the case may be.
Well, so with religion, there's been a classic trope kind of where they've tried to apply that to either intelligence or education, that the more educated a population is or an individual is, the less there is religious influence. But that's actually not true. That's true up until the college degree point, but where you have your basic college degree. Then if you look at the number of master's degrees, the number of PhD, as you go further and further, the more educated from that point on, you actually have a huge swing into have a huge religious influence on whatever their perspective,
spiritual or whatever. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I mean all the higher ups on whatever dark program you want to go into, corporate or government, the higher up you go, you then seem to be going almost backwards, because it seems to there's a reason that all the highest levels of classification are not, just, top secret's the lowest, right? And then you've got, varying levels of magic, it's
the things you can look into, when one of the funny things years ago that really gave me a rib chuckle was I saw a chart, we'll say, and it had a lot of different titles and names, and they had numbers beside of their importance. And right about number 4 or 5, which is the low part of the scale, because number 20 whatever is the top one, was the President of the United States. And then there were 20 more levels of importance above him. They had some really neat names.
No, so the president is Crypto 17. Fucking on the schedule.
Okay.
Restricted, confidential, fucking secret, top secret. Then you got your skiff, your another thing that's like a skiff, USAAF. Then you've got all of your crypto clearances. And like I said, he's mid-range of those. So then after you go through there, then you've got your Z27, your Orbit, your Trank, your Trad, your Cosmos, your Astral, your Stellar, your Ultra, your Cosmic, your Majestic, Yeah. And those seem like very interesting names.
Uh-huh.
And yeah.
I just had my numbers off, but you're absolutely, you were already there. Yeah.
I underestimated how many hands.
Yeah, because like I said, it's a long list, and there's a lot of weird names on there.
Speaking of tangents, did you know that that old UK Prime Minister that had the funny stuff with the allegations, and a lot of people say he maybe didn't pursue certain world famous pedo so aggressively and maybe meant that on that. Well, turns out he was probably one of that individual's victims, and we got pictures of him with him as a kid. And but then you think about the whole grooming thing and how they buy into the cult and all of this, and it's just a really thing. And I think Keir Starmer, well, we got the king. The king said Keir's got to go too publicly now. He's doing the whole rug pull.
Oh boy, but he was so confident in that press conference,
Well, it seems like maybe Keir Starmer is going to be the head that must roll to appease the masses, and it's his fault that y'all have to deal with that.
We still got to put the thing in though, because we already paper.
They're already doing
we gave it to the secretary, and she put it in the system.
Did you make a mean tweet? 18 months. That is people. I mean. More arrests in the UK, more people jailed, lives ruined for
12,000 people
for sharing a meme, for looking at a meme, all kinds of videos. And the thing is, the police are harassing them. They will show up to their flat at 2:30, 3:30 in the morning and demand I need to have your phone so we can make sure that you didn't save any of these pictures, and we need to delete all of this stuff. It's just
It's 2:30 in the morning. Can I ask why for a second time tonight you are disturbing me and my son in my home?
Yeah, because I've been made aware there's videos that have been posted onto social media, including those that were made this morning.
This morning? What made this morning?
And of my officers that have been round this evening.
Right, and?
So I'm here to kindly ask that you remove said videos from social media. If you do
no, I don't think I've broke the law, so I don't think I will.
And also, I want to advise you that you might well be committing offences under the Malicious Communications Act, okay?
Oh.
No.
Mace.
Yeah.
Mace and then a boot and then the bolt.
Don't give up your guns.
Well, it's weird. They take the guns and then they tell you can't talk about certain things. It's like we have, in America, there's 2 big ones.
Coming soon.
2 big ones. 1 and 2 for a reason. 1 says you can say whatever the hell you want to say, whenever the hell you want to say it, because you have the right to speech. Whether it makes somebody sad or pisses somebody off,
there's some stipulation,
or offends somebody or whatever. That's your right. And the number 2 big deal on that list is I get to have a gun, because if you try to tell me I can't say what I want to say, we can have a duel about it. Because one of us has got to go, right? If you say I can't do what I want to do or say what I want to say, within reason, you're not raping poor little kids or being pedos or doing all the dirty stuff, but within reason of normal civilian life, I can say whatever the hell I want to say, and if you don't like it, that's too bad. And we can agree to disagree. But if you want to take it past that, you know what I got in my pocket? Let's see how brave you are. Are you bulletproof? Is it worth it? No, then I'm going to keep saying whatever I want to, and you can go over there.
People forget how commonplace duels were. For
Right.
Favorite president, very controversial one, Andrew Jackson. I mean,
Thomas Jefferson.
well,
Quick.
I just saying it was.
Yes, absolutely.
And the whole premise, I do not like where I see some individuals starting to get harassed at these protests because they're having long guns, and the police will say, well, the Second Amendment doesn't apply to long guns. Ma'am?
Gun.
No. I would say, if anything, it exclusively would apply to there if you're trying to look at it through the vein of the time that it came out. Because do you know how expensive and rare pistols were? First of all, at this time, the average man does not have a pistol or even access to it. The weapon that you have is your long gun. And the weapon and the reason for having said weapon is to resist, to be part of a militia and resist the oppressive tyranny of an overreaching, despotic government.
Right.
Not to have a small pistol to make you feel safer or to save you from bad guys and robbers. That's actually not why you're supposed to be armed. It's not to save your own small personal property. The whole reason for the Second Amendment on paper, on our Constitution, is exactly to resist oppressive tyranny. In soapbox. Sorry. I was trying not to get too aggressive, but I felt Mel Gibson is charging behind me. The flag is swaying.
Yeah, now to be fair, I hate what America has become, but I am still trying to hold on to American values that are important. Family, tradition, doing things the right way, not being a piece of crap, and if you can, help your neighbor out if they need it. Mm-hmm. Not your neighbor gets whatever they want because they've been sucking off the system for 4 years and they refuse to do better because it's so easy to get this fake check that I don't have to get a real job or better myself in any other way or learn a skill or discern. Right. I'm going to suck off the system as much as I can until there's no more system, and then I'm going to bitch because I can't feed my kids. I am not responsible for your well-being. I will try to help when I can, but it should not be a requirement. And if you are getting help, there should be a time limit on the help.
Here, I will be more, to go into full dude mode, I will be more on the liberal side of the house for this, and I will say, I understand the mentality, and if you truly want to look at it from a communal, a tribal aspect, where we are and it is my responsibility to take care of you, that means it's your responsibility to take care of me as well. That means we are a community. So that means we are not destroying our community. We are not taking from our community without giving back. We are trying to make our community better.
That's the key, is contributing to this thing. It's not sucking off the thing like a parasite. But that goes back to morals and values, and what they're trying to destroy now is the nuclear family, where the mom and the dad teach both sides of the spectrum. Go
back to last episode with old Mr. Diggs.
It's just unfortunate, to see generations of people who have not only sucked off the system, but they have been taught to do so by their parents, because their parents have done nothing but suck off the system. All you gotta do is fill out this paper, say this, and that, and you don't feel good, and you get headaches, and your toes broken, whatever. There's your freaking mailbox money for the next 6 years, and because that's how often they look at it, or whatever the hell the deal is. You know what I'm saying? So there's no incentive to do better. I've seen I think we've had videos in our episodes of young men trying to get a job so they can better themselves, but that's going to mess up mom's money because she's collecting off of his social security number to get this big check every month. It's disgusting. There's no incentive to do better or actually work towards anything. It's, where's my free shit?
Yeah, I genuinely despise that, and that's where it goes to the people who are supporting something because they think that's what their team is supposed to be supporting, instead of taking time to understand the full spectrum of the situation, formulate their own opinion, and execute accordingly. But Yeah,
that's where we are, man. You know, that's and to be honest, all of that has led to this, and you know, tons of other things too. But that mentality has not helped this country. That hasn't helped us build a more beautiful country or safer streets, or any of that.
One movement that is just now starting to get trending. I saw a comedian that I don't really like because I don't think he's very good. Black comedian Roy Williams Jr. from Birmingham area and all that. But he was saying how he's looked up the alleged family that owned his family, you know, where they live and all of that stuff, and he's thought about driving up to them and confronting them and all of that. And one, he rags on them. He's like, and they ain't got shit. They just pull white trash, you know. And I've seen their crib, and you know, one talking shit about them, but saying that he's going to go confront them, and then they talk about how they're basically encouraging everybody else to go do that. And so that's where that movement has kind of got some spark from. And so they're saying if you're a black person that you should do this and go confront these people. And one, that's a good way to get shot.
Quickly.
I would highly recommend don't show up on random people's, especially not with an aggressive mentality. But so one, that seems insightful and very ill-advised across the board. But two, just that whole mentality is absolutely absurd, and the amount of people that can't see that, I
would like to think it's not as high as they're pretending it is, but
I mean, well, you got to think most of what you're seeing online is going to be fake comments, all the bot forums, all that stuff. We're back into the
dead internet.
You know, it's
sad. A lot of sads this episode. You know, we're getting into some.
Well. Stone Cold, anything with him is always good for a good
smile. Did you see him with the he was out at his ranch. I guess there was a haboob or a wind storm they call it out there. It was probably cutting 60 or 70. He had one of his Broken Ranch beers, and he was like, "Yeah, we're just trying out here," and he's like doing a thing. It was just all going over. Yeah, it was great. And me and him don't line up on all the stuffs, but I've always loved Stone Cold's character. He's obviously my favorite wrestler forever and ever. So to see him make the funnies and his Broken Skull podcast, having all the guys on and talking about the old stories, I really like watching that stuff. It's been good, especially him and Taker and what's the Taker's? He's got the Dead Man podcast.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
I love hearing them retell the stories about how things happened.
Dudley's been getting some more. From
him.
And Maven, I think he's trying to do some stuff too.
Yeah, you're starting
and then
to see
always Bret Hart is always complaining somewhere. Like there's,
he's got. What's upsetting to me with Bret Hart, since you brought him up, is that Bret Hart is probably top 3, if not top 2, best in-ring performers that ever performed in the wrestling community. I don't care what promotion it was. He was that good. I mean, the old adage is he could have a match with a broomstick, and you would try to give the broomstick the title. It was just, he was that good. But him sniffing his own farts, just, he's always got to bring that up. And it's Goldberg's fault. I didn't have a longer career. That's always been the...
I mean...
He's not wrong. I get it.
That's what I mean, to be fair, he is not wrong. And Goldberg absolutely was a very unpolished...
He was not a wrestler.
Bodybuilder that they could put in the ring. I'm not trying to say anything. That's the wrestling always tries to appeal to different demographics. You've always got to have that. So what's one that they didn't have anything to fill? His name is Goldberg.
Yeah, I'm with you, and you're not wrong. He was to be as popular and basically the bumper or the hood ornament for WCW for as long as he was. He was the worst in-ring talent.
Oh, he was dangerous.
He was not a wrestler. I mean, I think it was Steven Regal who had a match with him at one point and made a point to go off of Goldberg, let him set the cues, let him do, and he looked like crap. And he got wrung out by Vince or Bischoff behind the scenes. He's like, no, I'm not calling the shots. He's so good. He's so this. They just put out a crap match, and at the end it was just the pile driver, and the crowd was just pissed. It was crap getting thrown in there because he showcased This is not a wrestler. This is a bully who has one thing. I'm going to go out here, destroy whoever's in the ring, do my blah, and then I'm going to leave. You know, who's next? That was it. That was his whole thing. He couldn't cut a promo. He couldn't talk very well. It's just he had the physique. He had the intensity, very much like the Ultimate Warrior. But
the wrestling is not about wrestling. The first rule, the first thing you're doing is
don't hurt each other.
You're protecting him. Like the good wrestlers that you'll hear when they're talking about that,
will take the hit.
Yeah, they're talking about how when something goes wrong, they're
Hardy just did it. He just had a match with the Dudleys, and he came off the top, and he saw that the table wasn't centered right. So instead of taking him through and messing him up, he just kind of flung his leg out to catch him, and then went through the other tables. He took the shot instead of putting the pain on who he. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's doing. I'm really happy to see him get some traction again.
Like I said, this fall season, he's kind of been the one that I've seen that. I mean, like we heard people calling for Edge, and I think a lot of people really want to see John Cena Edge. That's where that whole thing was coming from there, but. Like he's coming. Yeah, he's got a lot of popularity right now.
I think we've touched on it a couple of times. He as far as I can tell, he is very much in love with the business.
Right.
He loves doing what he does, what he gets from it, what he puts into it. He's one of those lifers, and unfortunately, I think he's probably going to do it in the same way Undertaker did. Undertaker wrestled until he could literally not get the surgery or do the training to do the 1 or 2 matches that year. He did, I mean, and even now he's coming out on the chopper still trying to, because he's in love with the business. Mm-hmm. And I think Edge is one of those lifers too, who's not always been the most popular or always done the right things or, you know, been the best speaker or anything, but he's always been there trying to improve.
He's had some bad promos and some bad...
Yeah,
we're going to do and become the thing we're going to become.
Yeah, he's had some rough ones. But he's always transitioned. He's always evolved the character a little bit. He's always. I
loved him in Vikings. I don't know if I've plugged that.
Yeah, we have. We've talked about it several times. He was very much calling on that character to be. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But there's very few lifers in the business, and the lifers that can figure it out soon enough typically do well later. You know, it's you might not make all the money up front, but you know maybe. When you're 40, 45 and you're still doing the thing, or you're a better talker now, or maybe you're a better promoter now, you know, whatever, you find your niche in the business to stay in the business. Mm-hmm. So, and whether it's being a performer or not, you tend to go where you love, that's your passion. So I don't know how many more of those we're going to get anymore. And I'm really hoping, because I just saw some really crappy demographics for SmackDown.
Yeah, that's been like, I mean... empty stadium, it looks like. I mean, granted, it's not completely empty, but it looks like an empty stadium. You're seeing numbers under, I mean, the first time, and how long?
It's just, the demographic I read, it was the lowest, it was the first time in SmackDown history that the viewership was below 1 million people. AEW apparently outperformed them the same week. So, you're starting to get eyeballs into these... The smaller, you know, they're all owned by WWE, Titan, whatever you want to call them now.
Well, even the like smaller one, though, like super local one. There's one kind of in this area, like the Redneck Brawl stuff or whatever, and you'll see those are some hilarious promos, you know, because it's just Billy Bob from out in the woods, and you know, cousin Cletus over here.
Got his suspenders on, you know. But you're seeing more of that because I think the top is not. They're not giving a good product. Maybe they're using ChatGPT too much. I don't know. It's just.
Do you think that's because of the Vince McMahon being such a workaholic and being so central to it for so long, and then now being pulled out of it? Do you see it as there were a lot of great talents that are now being phased out, and there wasn't really the replenishment crop? Do you see it as more corporate interest and venture capitalists investing here and here, coming in, that outside influence?
I think it is a combination of all of the things you just mentioned. Absolutely the corporate mentality, because that WCW was going to fail regardless. The Time Warner merger or all that stuff, when corporate people get involved and start making decisions on bookings and who can do this and we're not going to promote this guy and that guy's family, when you start having too many chiefs and not enough Indian soldiers to put a product together, you can see that in the product. And I think that's what's happened with WWE at this point, is because I'm not buying for a second Vince is not part heavily in everything still going on.
I don't know.
Because he has a cell phone and he still knows all those people. And I think all the people that are in charge right now would love to have some real influence from anywhere else, because the shit they're doing right now is not that good. I've weaned off watching. It's just not been as good. I like the Cena stuff, but that's kind of faded out.
I'm not a Cena dude.
I'm not either. And I really tried to enjoy the heel turn and all that, but it's just, I like Cody Rhodes. And him coming back after him trying to heal up, it wasn't
I'm not a Cody Rhodes dude.
I like that he is following.
I might like Cody Rhodes heel, but I don't like Cody Rhodes.
That's coming.
I don't like Stardust. I mean, I don't
Well,
like
I just like, he's a good in-ring performer. He brings a good product when he's in the ring, and I think that's tough because a lot of guys just don't have the. I mean, I've seen him literally wrestle with everything torn here from down up to, he's got the passion to do the thing, and to carry the company is a big burden because it's not just wrestling today. It's, well, I'm wrestling today, and then I got to do the interview tonight, and then tomorrow I've got to do this morning show, and then I've got to cut this promo, and 50 other things until there's no breaks for those guys. Your schedule might be 3 on, 4 off, but those 4 off, you're doing something. Right. It's not going home to the kids. It's not going to the beach.
Right.
So I felt like he carried the company well for a while, and that's the credit I want to give him, because I'm not a big. I didn't like Goldust. Wasn't big on those characters, we'll say, but to see them put in the work, it's just a lot of people were with their 3 on, 4 off or what it is now, and they're not showing up those other days.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see if they can get it back together, but I feel like AI writing has had a lot to do with the storyline probably not coming out as well. I feel like there needs to be a heavy influence of people that can see a thing way down the road and be able to make those heel turns or, faction, whatever it is. You got to be able to plan that crap years in advance. And that was something Vince was very good at, right, wrong, or indifferent as a person. As far as a promoter and the wrestling business, I don't know if there's been a better mind,
I can see that, and I won't disagree with that. I mean, possibly in times that we weren't there. I mean, can't say what some of the Gladiator promoters were doing. I'm sure they had some bangers coming out there.
They
did have huge coliseums and whatnot built.
Well, it's the same
product.
mentality with the Gladiators. The Gladiators were there for entertainment. The Gladiators were not there to murder each other.
Yeah,
they were there to not
movie.
murder each other. You know what I'm saying? It was, I'll cut your arm a little bit, but I'm not going to cut your arm off below the elbow.
They also, a lot of them kind of had bellies intentionally because that was so you could have those visceral wounds, but without
internal organ damage, right? Yeah. So, just to that point, I feel the talent has definitely not been the same influx.
That's everything. So we could look at it like the difference between what was and is with wrestling. We could do that with automobile manufacturing. We could do that. We just talked about all the foods, all those foods didn't start out completely trash and poison and everything there. I mean, we can go back in time. You can look at what bread was in the 70s and what bread is now. It went from being something that goes bad pretty quickly, tastes good, to something that lasts forever, doesn't taste so good, and also doubles as a seat cushion. It's the same chemicals and product,
right.
Pick a candy, pick a food, pick a thing.
Well, maybe it's just the degradation of society that's made wrestling worse.
I mean, one could argue that that's the consumerist capitalist culture. Maybe that's where we have our Mohammed Dami coming in New York to save the day and let everybody know that, hey, you're not supposed to have all these things and be happy and consume, and that's not what your life is about. Your life's about to get real rough.
Yeah, it was scary to see him the day before the election and then
transition?
him the day after the election. It was literally the Sith turn from Palpatine, because he was the big, oh yeah, everything's gonna be fine. It's buses and free, and then the next day it's, I'm here now. This is happening. You're not allowed to have cigarettes. Pork's about to be executed all out of the state of New York. I don't care. It was just click. But that's what you get when you're funded by Soros and all that good jazz. So.
Those sleigh bells ring-a-ling-a-ring-a-ting-a-ting-a-ling-a-too. Ring-a-ling-a-ling-a-ding-a-dong. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with a Jew. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you home. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with a Jew. Ring-a-ling-a-ling-a-ding-a-dong-a-ding. 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 Ring-a-ling-a-ling-a-ding-a-dong-a-ding.
Puedes ir por las tuyas a tu tienda favorita. Ross, Burlington, Target, Safeway, entre otras.
Rosy and comfy and cozy are we. We are snuggled up together like two birds of a feather bird.
Good luck, New York.
New York, I mean, time's about to get real tough.
Yeah.
It's about to be real interesting, and we're about to wrap it up because this is wandering on. But they also had a Halloween night. We had a overnight influxion. I'm trying to think of the most basic way to break it down. An overnight influxion of stuff that didn't exist prior to suddenly existing money into the system that happened in 2008 as well. So.
Ooh.
But, yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
Join us next time, folks. Like, subscribe.
Thanks for watching.